Now with this lesson we are going to culminate our understanding of human physiology, and specifically because it is part of nervous system, so we are going to end this chapter on with the topic of receptors. Now we have been talking a lot about that there is a stimulus, that stimulus is being perceived, then there are impulses which are generated, the electrical signals are the impulses which take the information, then that information gets processed, and in the central nervous system the neurons take part in processing for that information. The question lies that how are these impulses being generated, how is the stimulus being perceived? We have talked a great deal about stimulus and impulses. So now we come to the point that how the stimulus, whether external or internal stimulus which is to be sent to the nervous system, how it is getting converted to the electrical impulse which moves towards the central nervous system or from the central nervous system towards the periphery. So what happens basically, and what is the main component which is playing a regulatory role? If not regulatory, the main component that is responsible for generating that electrical impulse, which is the core of entire nervous system. So we have to deal with receptors with that. Now what are receptors? First of all, they would be present in the form of some sort of cell, or it would be a membrane, it could be anything which would act as a biological transducer that is connected to central nervous system by afferent nerve fibers. Alright, this is the one point. Second point is that these biological transducers are able to convert any type of energy into the electrical impulse which would be further carried forward or would be taken from the central nervous system to the site where the stimulus was perceived. So basically the receptor would be a biological transducer present which would perceive the stimulus in any form of energy and then convert it into the electrical impulse so that it can be carried to the central nervous system. Now how are these receptors connected to the CNS? They are connected by afferent nerve fibers which are otherwise known as sensory nerve fibers. So these receptors, they can be accumulated at one place, as in the case of sense organs. Like we have the case of eye, there are many photoreceptors which are present, that means they are accumulated at one place, or they could be scattered at many places, as in the case of skin. So supposedly I am applying pressure over here and over here, I can perceive it at different places, and that is because they are scattered. Now your vision, if you have to draw parallel of energy and receptors with your vision mechanism, you can very well see that the photoreceptors which are present in inside your eye, they are clustered at one place. That is why the image that is being formed, that is formed at retina. We have in very much detail we have studied about eye. So now we are going to see that how these receptors work and what is the classification of receptors that is present in the human nervous system. First of all, you need to get introduced to the term receptive field, because I have said that the stimulus would be perceived somewhere. So where it is perceived in the receptive field. And what is that receptive field? That receptive field happens to be the region, the specific region in the periphery, that means not in the central nervous system, in the peripheral nervous system. It is that region from where a neuron within the central nervous system receives the input. Now supposedly you prick a pin on your skin. Now this would be the receptive field from where the central nervous system neuron would be connected. So it would be connected by a series of neurons, and the neurons would be connecting the receptive field to the central nervous system where the processing would take place. Whatever stimulus has been perceived, the receptive field would carry that information in the form of electrical impulse that has been converted. It could be in form of any energy, and it would take it to the central nervous system for processing. Now our part of study lies in the classification of these receptors. Now that you understand what is the function of the receptors, now you need to know what is the classification of receptors. There are many sorts of classification that are made in terms of receptors. First classification lies in that whether it is a steady state or a changing state receptor. Like supposedly there is a constant temperature that is being perceived by the body, that would be perceived by the steady state receptors, while if the intensity of the stimulus changes, it would be a changing state receptor. Then there are exteroceptive and interoceptive receptors. Exteroceptive are those receptors which are sensitive to the external environment, while interoceptive receptors would be sensitive to the internal conditions of the body. That is, supposedly we are talking about glucose content in the blood, we are talking about calcium content in the blood, and that is being sent to the brain for regulation. So that would be conducted by interoceptive. And if we are talking about external conditions, like you are feeling a lot of humidity around you, that would be by exteroceptive. Or there is some sort of smell that you are feeling, pungent smell is coming inside, that would be by exteroceptive, because they are primarily dealing with the external environment, while the other one, latter one, is dealing with the internal environment. Now one thing you have to remember, that the functioning of the receptors, basically it depends on two features of the stimulus. Basically, because the receptors are dealing with stimulus, so what are the features of stimulus which decide how the receptor is going to work and what the receptor is going to be, what class of receptors would be present over there? First factor is the intensity of the stimulus, and the second factor happens to be location of the stimulus, where it is located. Okay. Now this thing you have to remember. Apart from this, you have to remember this, you have to remember what is receptive field. Now we come to the next topic that is important under the receptors content, that is, on the basis of kind of stimulus that is being provided, how many types of receptors are present inside our nervous system. So the first one is thermoreceptors. As the name suggests, thermo means it has something to do with temperature. So our body gives us a sense that the temperature is higher or the temperature is lower. Supposedly you go out somewhere, your body has to perspire, or if you're cold it will start shivering. What are the receptors which are perceiving this hot or cold temperature? That is by thermoreceptors, which are present scattered all over our skin, and those thermoreceptors are of further two types. One would sense warmth and other would sense cold. So we have two types of thermoreceptors in our body, and I need not to say they would be present ubiquitously in our body. Now we talk about chemoreceptors. They would be sensitive to chemical stimulus. Now when I talk about chemical stimulus, I am referring to the stimulus that would be external, or it could be internal stimulus that the chemoreceptors perceive. Supposedly I talk about you take something, you smell something pungent, so that would be the chemoreceptors present inside your nose, which would give you a sense that the smell is pungent. Now talking about something bitter you have tasted, so there are chemoreceptors which are present in our tongue. There is our tongue has so many receptors present over it. They are chemoreceptors in the nature, because they perceive the chemical nature of the stimulus and then convert it into electrical impulse. They are present in our all the openings, basically, where there is pH regulation that is maintained. Apart from that, the chemoreceptors would be present in the nose, they would be present in the mouth. Inside the body, if we talk about the internal environment, there are many chemoreceptors which are present, which check the acidity or the alkaline nature of the content which is present. At the same time, I gave you example of glucose content in the blood, that would also be perceived by the chemoreceptors itself in the body. Now talking about the next type of receptors, that is mechanoreceptors. Again the name suggests that something mechanical, stress would be the part of stimulus and the receptors would perceive it. Now these mechanoreceptors are uniformly divided all over our skin, and the example for this is Pacinian corpuscles, which are present in our skin and in our hands. And these corpuscles are fluid filled membrane like extensions, and whenever there is a change or a pressure is being applied in the form of stimulus, there is change in the ionic content, the potassium and sodium content changes, and it sends an impulse. So basically you have to remember this name, that these corpuscles which are spread out entirely over our skin and in the base of the hair cells, you might have experienced a unique phenomena of goose flesh when there is strange erection of hair that takes place in your body. If you're scared or you're feeling cold, the hair get erected. That is because of the mechanoreceptors and thermoreceptors along with that. If I'm talking about in the cold conditions, the mechanoreceptors which perceive the pressure or the pressure in the form of stimulus in the Pacinian corpuscles, the membrane potential changes due to ionic content that changes, and that sends the impulse to the CNS and a suitable response is generated. And the last one is photoreceptors, abundantly found in the eye. You know the example of rods and cones, which are the two types of cells which are present for photoreception basically, which are responsible for reception of light inside our eye. These ones are responsible for the color perception, the other ones are responsible for the perception of day and night vision. So we have photoreceptors clustered inside the retina, and they are responsible for perceiving the light that enters our body. So we have 4 types of receptors which are present in our body, and we have the receptors, their classifications. So with this we come to the end of nervous system and the entire human physiology, and we have come to know many things about our human system, how it works, what is the basic crux of every physiological function, and what are the basic anatomical features of the various fundamental physiological functions of our body. I hope it is quite clear to you now that each system of our body along with its organs, it works in a very regulated manner in which the brain plays an important part. These receptors that we have discussed now, they play an important role, and apart from that our body has been accustomed and it has acclimatized to certain physical features of the nature according to which we work, and the best possible out of every process is being conducted so that there is minimum loss and minimum wastage. So this is all about human